Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So, word on the street is that Terence Crawford could potentially sign a 2-fight deal with PBC, with the ultimate goal making the Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford fight, which is a great thing. I'm really hoping that there's truth to the news, and I'm really hoping that this is a real thing. I really would like to see Terence Crawford, stay on his independent shit and kind of do like a fight-by-fight basis, 2-fight deals and stuff like that, where it actually makes sense for him. I feel like Terence Crawford has built himself up to the point where it's like, you done made a lot of money. You've accomplished so many great things, accolade-wise, in the sport when it comes to being highly decorated, becoming undisputed at 140, winning titles and doing things like that, champion in multiple divisions and shit like that. At this point, it's just about making legacy fights. The priority, of course, being the big fight versus Errol the True Spence Jr. So I like this. And initially, I was hearing that it's supposed to be Terence Crawford versus Keith Thurman in July. Now I'm hearing that it could possibly be Danny Garcia versus Terence Crawford in July, and then maybe the Errol Spence fight on the back end, late fall or early winter, something like that. I'm going to say this. Either one of those matchups is cool with me. I would actually prefer for Terence Crawford to get some type of stay busy fight. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't care who Terence Crawford fight in between him getting ready for Errol Spence Jr. You know what I'm saying? I just want him to get in there with somebody, because the way I see Errol Spence moving right now, the way he looking in training and his mindset and what I think he going to do on April 16th versus Yordenis Ugas, then on top of that, having a victory like that and then having so much momentum, becoming a 3-belt unified champion at 147, I think Earl gonna be strong physically and mentally, spiritually, and just have so much momentum going into that fight. I wouldn't want to see Terence Crawford just been sitting off the whole year and then you got to go get in with that motherfucker. You dig what I'm saying? So I would like to see Terence Crawford get in there with somebody in the meantime, but it would be even better if it is a Keith Thurman or even a Danny Garcia. Me personally, I think the more intriguing matchup is Terence Crawford versus Keith Thurman, just because Keith Thurman coming off a win. Granted, it's Mario Barrios. Is nothing impressive or spectacular. He looked decent in that fight, but he wasn't extremely impressive to me. So, but again, he's coming off a win, whereas Danny Garcia is coming off his last fight was a loss to Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence coming off the accident. He lost to that Errol Spence, like fresh off the accident. You know what I'm saying? So, I really don't know how that fight would play out. I favor Terence Crawford in both of those fights. I just think Terence Crawford is a better fighter than Keith Thurman. I think Terence Crawford is a better fighter than Danny Garcia. I think he's just more skilled, bring more things to the table, and he's undefeated and on a roll, and he got momentum, and he got that mean streak and that mentality. Like, bruh, I'm trying to stop everything at 147. Like, none of you motherfuckers is gonna stand in my way. I'm trying to go get Errol Spence, and I think Terence Crawford with that mentality and with everything on the line, knowing that if you do sign this 2-fight deal, knowing that at the end of that tunnel it's Errol the True Spence Jr. that you gotta face, and it's gonna be for Undisputed, the biggest fight of your life, the biggest fight of your career, the toughest fight of your career. And I just think Terence Crawford is gonna be on a motherfucking warpath, like, mentally, like going crazy and trying to fuck something up. So I don't see Terence Crawford losing to Keith Thurman or Danny Garcia. So I think the conversation at this point is just which fight would be more entertaining, which would be more intriguing, which fight, is worth, you paying for or watching or, whatever. And now let me say this. This is boxing and anything can happen. Keith Thurman got power. Danny Garcia got power. There is a possibility that one of those dudes can land some on Terence Crawford and hurt him real bad. That's possible. So I'm not ruling out the idea of Keith Thurman or Danny Garcia winning, but it's just highly unlikely. And I wouldn't favor either one of these guys to beat Terence Crawford. So but I think the Keith Thurman fight is a little bit more interesting, though I love what Danny Garcia brings to the table as well with his durability. Has a very, very strong and durable chin. Punch resistance is good. You never really seen him like hurt by one single shot or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? He always just been really just sturdy and durable and strong and being able to take punishment whenever he has been in wars and shit like that. So, I think he would be more likely to go the distance with Terence Crawford as opposed to Keith Thurman. I think that fight ends in a knockout. And it's going to be either Terence Crawford. I think I'm picking Terence Crawford to knock out Keith Thurman if that fight was to actually happen. But I think Keith Thurman has the ability to knock out Terence Crawford too. That fight doesn't go 12 in my opinion. The Danny Garcia fight, that shit could go either way. I think, it's more likely that Terence Crawford outboxes him to a decision, or maybe stops him late. You know what I'm saying? But it's also possible that Danny Garcia can catch Terence Crawford with one of those no-look hooks. The famous Danny Garcia no-look hook, the left or the right, and knock out Terence Crawford. That's possible. But I just don't see I don't see that fight. I don't see Danny Garcia outboxing Terence Crawford and taking him 12 and winning. On the cards, I really don't see that. His punch output is not good enough. His punch rate ain't good enough. You know what I'm saying? His work rate just ain't good enough. He gonna have to be a lot more busy to be able to beat a guy like Terence Crawford, who is gonna be extremely accurate with his counters. Both of them are great counter punchers, very sharp counter punchers. But I think Terence Crawford having a speed advantage, with more variety in his punches, having a better jab, I think even Terence Crawford in his most recent fights at welterweight, his work rate ain't been very high. But even this Terence Crawford with a lower work rate is still higher than Danny Garcia's work rate. I just think he'll get either outworked, outboxed and knocked out, or Danny Garcia gonna knock him out. You know what I'm saying? But either fight is intriguing, man. Either fight is intriguing. And I think either one of them is good for Terence Crawford just to stay busy and just so he can, keep the everything oiled and, keep the motherfucking machine going. And, you know what I'm saying? Don't just get lulled to sleep and, you ain't fought this whole year. You've been inactive. Then you get in there with Errol Spence late in the year and you get stopped. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. How do y'all feel about Terence Crawford possibly fighting Keith Thurman? How do you feel about a matchup with him and Danny Garcia? Which fight do you think is the more interesting fight? Which matchup is the more challenging matchup for Terence Crawford? You know what I'm saying? Do you even think that it matters whether or not he has a challenging matchup if, for the next fight after that, if it's for sure gonna be Errol Spence, who the fuck cares who he fights? I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't. Me personally, if it's gonna be pay-per-view or something, then I care. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Please let me get one of those. Let me get a Keith Thurman if it's pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? Danny Garcia, I might pay for that. You dig what I'm saying? Just because it's Terence Crawford and it's Danny Garcia. I never seen that matchup. I know they fought in the amateurs and they split 1-1. You know what I'm saying? But I might pay for that. You dig what I'm saying? But do it really matter who he fight? Because at the end of the day, you still got to get in there with Errol Spence, and we already know, everybody know that's the granddaddy of them all. You know what I'm saying? That is the light at the end of the tunnel. That is the main shit that we looking forward to. So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Contender regime boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.